Okay, today we're going to be reviewing graphing and substitution because our test is going to be on Monday. And when I look at this first equation, I'm going to identify my m, which is my slope, my b, which is my y-intercept. To do that, I'm looking at this equation and I gotta remember that there's an understood 1 right there. So my slope is the number in front of the x, so it's a -1. And my b, the sign goes with it, so that one is a -4. B is my beginning point, so that's my first point I plot on the graph. I'm going to plot a point on the y-axis on -4. Then I'm going to use my slope, and my slope is -1. I'm going to put that over 1. That tells me to go down 1, right 1. So from that point, I can go down 1, right 1, and plot my point. Now I run out of room. So how I taught this in class is the opposite of going down is up. The opposite of going right is left. So if I follow that, those directions, up, left, I get back to my original point, up, left, up 1, left 1, and keep going all the way through your graph. You get what forms a line there. So I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to draw a straight line. It must be a straight line. It is a negative slope. Then I'm going to do the second equation on the same graph, and I'm going to identify my m and my b. My m is the number in front of the x. Remember, that's a 4. And my b is the y-intercept, and it's the number by itself. It's a 1. So I'm going to start my beginning point, my b, at 1 on the y-axis. From there, I'm going to use my slope to figure out what other points I'm going to use. So my 4 can always be placed over 1, because when you divide 1 by anything, it's whatever that thing is. So going up 4, because it's positive, right, because it's positive, right 1. Going up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, it gives me a point right there. And since if I went up 4 more, I'd be out of room. I could also reverse both of those arrows and go down 4, left 1. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1 is right there. Then I'm going to connect my points using a straight edge. And the graphs have to go all the way out off of the graph. And the solution is where the two lines cross. So the solution is you write it as an ordered pair. And remember, our ordered pairs are x and then y. And so this point right here where they intersect, my x is -1 and my y is -3. So my answer, my solution to this system of equations is -1, -3. Now with the system of equations, you can type it in Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S. It's a website that's got a graphing calculator on it. And as long as your equations are in slope-intercept form like they are here, it will automatically give you these two lines and show you where it's crossing at. And that's at Desmos.com, and we can even use that on the EOC. So to do that again, on this equation, on this system, I'm going to identify my m and my b. So on this one, my m, remember, is an understood 1, so it's a -1. I can put any whole number or any integer over 1. So this one tells me to go down 1, right 1. And my beginning point, my y-intercept, is -3, because remember, the sign goes with it. So I'm going to plot my point on -3, and from there I'm going to go down 1 and over 1. I ran out of room, so I could also go up 1, left 1, just reversing those signs, and it goes all the way through my graph. I'm going to use a straight edge to connect my points for my first line. Alright, the next one, I'm going to identify my m and my b. In this case, my m is a fraction 3/4. which actually works a lot better for us because we don't have to put it over 1. It's already a fraction. My b is 4. It's this point right here, and the sign goes with it, so it's a positive 4, and that's right there. So then I'm going to go up because it's positive, right because it's positive. But if I try to go up 3 right 4, I'm off the graph. So I can always reverse both of these arrows. Instead of up, I can go down. Instead of right, I can go left. So following those directions, down 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. I can't do any more points on my graph because I ran out of room for it. And if I connect my dots, that's what my system of equations looks like. Remember, the solution to a system of equations is an ordered pair. And it's x and then y when you write your ordered pair. So my x point right here was -4, and my y is a +1. So this right here is my solution. Number 3. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and get this into slope-intercept form because that's the way I taught it. So I'm going to do x plus 4y equals -16. And if you get used to putting it in slope-intercept form, then you'll be able to use Desmos to figure out what your answers are. So to get it into slope-intercept form, remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I need to get the y by itself. There's a couple steps that you always follow to get the y by itself. You add or subtract the x value first, and in this case, I'm going to subtract 1x on both sides. I can't put those together, they're not like terms. So I'm going to give it, and it's going to drop down 4y equals -1x minus 16. Because you can't put those together, they're not like terms. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and I divide everything on this side by 4. That gives me y equals -1/4 x minus 4. So looking at this last bit of information, what is my m? You should be thinking it's the number in front of the x. So it's -1/4. And my b is -4. So I'm going to plot my first point on -4. And then from there, I'm going to go down and right. Down 1, right 4. And I run out of room, so I could also reverse both of those, and I could go up and left. And that's my first line on this problem. So the next equation, I'm going to try to get the y by itself again. So I need to add or subtract the x term, and in this case, the opposite of a +3 is a -3x. So I'll subtract on both sides. Again, you cannot put those together, they're not like terms. So I'm going to drop down my -2y equals -3x minus 6. And then I'm going to divide everything by -2. So that gives me y equals -3 divided by -2 is a +3/2x. -6 divided by -2 is a +3. So my m is 3/2 and my b is 3. Plotting my y-intercept first, my b, my beginning point, on 3. I can go up 3 and right 2, but if I do that, I run out of room. I could also reverse both of those signs and go down and left. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2. And then I run out of room, connecting my 3 dots and 3 points. And the solution to the system of equations is where they cross. and it crosses right here at -4, -4. Because remember, that's x and then y. I'm going to leave number 4 for you to try on your own.